Girl, we got some tea?
With the honey and the sugar.
Nah, we gonna need some wine for this one.
Well,
wine me, please.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Wine Me Please podcast. It's your girl, Dominique.
And Candace.
And we are here with special guests. We're super, super excited. We have the owners of the luxury wine company, Boddyyayin.
Yes.
Wine Cellars. Right? Did I say that right?
So Boddyyayin Cellars.
Boddyyayin Cellars. Thanks for the correction. We are so excited for you guys to be here. We're about to pick y'all brains a little bit. Learn some education about the business, about y'all wine, and make sure we get y'all to buy it. Period. Absolutely. So we have a couple questions, but before we get
started, yes, we have Anthony here with us as well as Kayla.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about you and a little bit about this wine before we go ahead and give it a try.
Okay.
I'll let you go first, Kay.
Okay. As she said, I'm Kayla. I'm the wife of Anthony. And honestly, I always joke, I say this is my husband's baby. Because this was his idea that he rolled over in the bed and was like, hey, I think what one of the crafters in California, not California, but in Tanzania said to us about getting into the wine industry, I'm going to do it. And then he was like, well, we going to do it. I was like, okay, that's what it's going to be then. So, though it's his baby, it's ours together. Because obviously when you're married, you know, you got to talk about things
Support
together.
each other's passions.
Yes.
What's yours?
But, I am his wife, and this is our baby. Another baby of ours.
The decor on this, the packaging, the display of it, the culture of it.
Yes.
So this is absolutely
Embrace
beautiful.
your roots.
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
And I'm Anthony Boddy Sr. This is my wife, Kayla. And a little bit about myself. As we took on this venture, it's been about 6 years that we've been on the continent, going back and forth with different business interactions, particularly with our community center that we're also building. And we'll get a little bit into that as well as we talk about the wine and how all this came about. But yes, I'm Anthony Boddy Sr. and I look forward to the questions and just having a good time today.
Absolutely. So we're going to start off with the Chardonnay. Tell us a little bit about your Chardonnay.
Okay.
All right, so I'll start off with the Chardonnay. Of course, this is our white wine. It's a 2021 brand, and it's been aged in oak barrel. So if anyone knows about the crafting process, thank you. Most people will prefer either the oak aging or they'll prefer in steel. For us, we want the aging process to be fruit forward without all of the sulfites and the added sugars and things of that nature. So we want to have the natural process of aging as well. Also about the Chardonnay, when we took on the venture to crafting our wines, particularly the white wines, we knew that when people mentioned Chardonnay, it was a household name, right? Which is the name of the grape. But some people, when they drink it, and when you guys drink it, I want to see your response on what you may get. But just a quick hint to it is that you won't get the heavy butter overtone.
Okay.
Honestly, just looking at the color already, I could tell the difference of it. It seems very like crisp and clear. And you know, you usually see a lot of like a yellowish undertone.
Yeah, super dark yellow.
Yeah, darkish. And I was like, okay, this looks light.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, if you want to add to,
I mean, the biggest thing, like I love sweets, and I know we're getting to it in a second about what I do for a living as esthetician. So ultimately, even though I love sweets, I still wanted to make that the fruit is the most prominent taste that you're going to taste versus like added sugars and preservatives.
Right.
So when I say I love sweets, I had to recognize like you can have sweets. You don't have to have, you know, just straight chocolate all the time or things that have added sugar in there preservative wise, but fruit have that. And so you're going to taste, which I don't want to give it away with your taste possibly, but it tastes more of that, like you said, fruit forwardness, which still gives the sweetness that I like.
Okay, well, we're
and so right now it's at a bit of probably room temperature, but most people like it chilled.
Yeah.
Of course, the process I was getting here, so we want to make sure that at least have a decent amount of chill. But if not, you have your pleasure to do it as well.
Right? Yeah.
Well, like our shirts, we like to swirl it, sniff it, sip it.
And cheers, as she always says. Cheers part.
And I'm going to add in there, drink the story, live the legacy.
Oh, I hear that.
Oh, yes.
Put that on the shirt.
Legacy.
That's our slogan. Drink the story, live the legacy.
Yep.
Oh yeah, no, I like that.
It does have more of a, not a sugar sweet, but it has more of a sweet. It's not as
It's like
dry
a melon.
as other.
It's like, you know how melons have a nice sweet,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
not like
Overpowering,
oversweet.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's not buttery, but it's smooth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
biggest thing.
So
smooth.
yeah, I like this.
And then if you let it sit for a little bit, you'll allow like more of that flavor to really float on your palate and everything like that. So for me, I always, you know how if you ever eat a lemon, you be like I
Right.
get that too a little bit after I sip our Chardonnay.
Yeah,
I do like
I
that.
like this. I like this.
And then another thing that we practice is that as we get further and educating ourselves more into the different variety of grapes, particularly the ones that we have right now, the Merlot and the Chardonnay, of course, we are very keen on making sure that you don't have that hangover that most people get
With Chardonnay.
with Chardonnay or even wine in general, right? So we practice and we work on just different methods to make it more of a healthier, better for you
Option
drink.
for you.
That's
Yeah.
good. Sneak up on you. So what we paired it with, what you know, the web says it goes good with. We have Gouda cheese, we have caramelized pecans,
Yes.
walnuts, cranberries, and then there's a little hint of apple pieces in there as well. So I'll be interested. There's that sweet flavor you were looking
Right.
for to go with it.
Thanks.
Clumsy Kayla gonna drop her
Be
peanut.
careful. I'm very clumsy, so you know.
Thank you.
So is there any particular flavors that you guys immediately like jumped off on your tongue that like, oh, this has this in there?
That's why I immediately
Yeah.
I tasted some melon. I felt like
Okay.
almost like honeydew melon a little bit.
I'm not
So you
good
have
with
your
pointing out
white
flavors.
pear
Yeah.
in there.
I'm not super good with pointing out flavors just to say that. I'm just like, ooh, good.
That is so good.
But, yeah, I just honestly say it's like, good. Like, cause I'm not a dry wine person. I like juice. I like my wine to taste like juice.
Okay. That's how, like, I used to love like wine coolers.
Yeah.
citrus, a lot of
I'm
citrus.
okay, yeah, that's what I didn't want to be
zest in
wrong,
there.
so I didn't want to say it. I'm like, yeah, the citrusy. It's like a citrus
But that was
flavor.
me, like wine coolers, like all
Yeah.
of it. I say Sugar Ray. At the end of the day, you might as well just have some Kool-Aid.
Exactly.
You can
exactly.
taste the citrus and the aftertaste, like what you
Good.
said when you let it sit a little bit longer. But it goes really good with some, you know,
With the sweetness
these
of like the
walnuts.
pecans, the caramelized,
Yeah,
and then with the cheese, I find that it actually opens up the flavor of it a lot more.
Yeah.
Because cheese kind of has like, I think we said it's Gouda, right? So Gouda kind of reminds me a little bit where it's a little bit sharp, like,
Yeah.
of a taste to it, but it's not like light sharp cheddar. I think if you want to say.
It's kind of like the remember the Lunchables. The taste you would get, that's what
I
I
still
get.
make those, by the way, my own adult version.
Yeah.
And I like that this is although it has some sweetness to it. It's a light sweetness to it. It being too sweet wouldn't pair well with
It would
what
have
we
been
have.
too
It would be
sweet altogether.
overpowering. So it balances.
I think this is a
everything
really
out.
good wine when it comes to like your desserts for sure. I mean, you can have it with like I think I shared with you guys. You can have it with your wild caught salmon. If you want to add spinach, and then for me, when I make my spinach, I put the onions in there. I put a little bit of lemon on there, a fresh lemon squeeze. My fennel seeds, all that stuff. It just really opens up the flavor with the dish that you've made. But I really love it with like desserts, heavily with desserts.
Yeah.
So when people
can see
bought it,
that.
they was like, "Oh, this is the perfect summer dessert wine."
Yeah.
Especially like your cheesecakes and,
I
all
can-
that
Especially
stuff.
right now, the season's
Yeah.
shifting. That's
Yeah.
good.
Especially when you said cold, I was like, yeah, I get it. I get where you're going with
Yeah.
that.
You guys taste the oak? Try to bring it forth. Just let it sit, kind of swirl it a little bit more.
Like barrel oak.
Barrel oak.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I guess we have to imagine what it tastes like.
See, I wasn't even the wine person when I got on here. I was like, well, I'm getting good at this. I'm getting good at this.
It's funny you say that because even like I said, with us being in it, you still learn a lot more. Especially down the connoisseurs that's like
Yeah.
been in
for
it for
years.
years.
Yeah.
For years.
And then they start saying these words like, "How did you tasting this and
We
that?"
just learned about brandy being
Which wine was it?
brandy being a wine.
Yeah.
Just learned,
Brandy is a wine.
Just learned that
See?
this year. I was
There's
like,
a lot of stuff you learn, and it's
I was kinda-
education behind it, and it's a story in it. So that's our story. So
yeah. Speaking of that, can you describe the name and where you got the name and how you developed the name?
So of course, Body is our last name. So it's culture, heritage, something we pass to our children, so they can brand themselves to know that hey, we own a portion of a wine business, or
Right.
or in general, our name is out
Ownership.
there based on what our culture inspires, and then also the name Yayin is the Hebrew word for wine.
I love that.
So And of course, in the Hebrew language, or they say ivrit, it has a connotation to bring forth conversation. You know how when some people say, people drink, they tell the truth. Things come out. That's why they give it the emphasis of spirits, because it's supposed to bring something out of you.
Yep.
I tell people all the time, you gotta be careful what you drink because you don't know what spirit can come out.
Yeah.
That's why they call it the spirit.
So Yayin it unveils stories or truths.
And we want the good. Obviously, the good
Exactly.
things. So, though our percentage of wine is at what's like, well, that's high. My brother, he joked. He said a few more percentage. That's Taylor port. And we're like, nah, we ain't doing that. But the goal is though too is not to promote getting drunk and being drunkardness, but actually having a nice conversation like we're doing, calm, and that ultimately like you unfold or you restore certain stories that may have never been told or have been not told for a long time that need to be brought up to bring forth whatever change needs to be brought forth in the family or even to encourage or inspire somebody. And so I know for us when it came to Diaspora Return, I shared it at our wine launch, but it's so amazing how we got into the wine industry not knowing that on my side of the family, I actually have a history of a winemaker being my grandfather.
Oh, wow.
And so when we came back from Tanzania, bringing back grapes for our family to try from our vineyard, my dad said, it's so amazing, Kayla, you don't even know it because we've never told this story as a family like we should have, but your grapes, which we've now turned into wine, is bringing forth this message of you are doing something that you didn't even know your grandfather had been doing for years. So much so that when he passed away at the funeral, people were like, "Where's Al Reed's wine? Where's his wine?" And my dad like, I threw it out. They're like, "What? Like, why would you throw that out?"
Everybody went crazy.
So I didn't even know that my grandfather was in the wine industry and a little bit of the moonshine as well, as they said.
Well, that definitely opens us up to the next question, which you guys kind of answered, which was why wine. So you spoke about the fact that you guys went to Tanzania and someone kind of like talked about getting into the wine industry. Is that what truly like sparked it, or was there always something planned in your mind?
Yeah.
Because we already have a vineyard.
So what sparked it? So we already have vineyard. We have, like I said, we built a community center. We have 5 acres where we're also doing like sustainability practices in agriculture. So with our 20 acres with vineyard, we are already just sourcing the grapes, just selling the markets and locals that would maybe turn it to juice and things of that nature. But when we were there, and we visit certain wineries there, some of the crafters that help us, pretty much put our wines together, blends and all those things, came up to us. His name was Zaki. He's a South African wine maker as well, but he was in Tanzania at the time. And he said, "You guys have all these grapes. You might as well get into the wine business." And he was like, maybe we thought about it, but not now because we have so many other things going on. Yeah. But when he said that, it like I said, that spark, as you mentioned, came up. Was like, why not?
He planted a seed.
Because it's sustainability and wine. How? Yeah. So I'm going to say, instead of letting the grape go bad, you can let the grape age in barrels. And, as we know, wine can age for years if it's taken care in the proper temperature and the culture, whatever climate it is. Yeah. You can bring forth some pretty good wine. So it was like, okay. And like for the last 6 years, we've been on that venture as we also trying to learn more about it as well.
Nice.
So we got some good education behind it as well. So
that's good. That's education alone, just knowing that like it doesn't have to go bad.
Yeah.
Like it's something that we can continue to utilize. And I've never really thought about grapes like that. Like,
well, I think that's a cultural aspect of us being resourceful too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we're just a very
we don't want things to go to waste, and that's what we were noticing with our own vineyard. You know, you have what was like the percentage you said we were losing.
Well, not just us. It was just I did like a quick survey of different farmers that was in our local region, because we're currently in Dodoma, which is the capital of Tanzania now. Dar was the original capital, but over the last few years they switched it to Dodoma. And just doing a survey of some of the gardeners and farmers and asking them, about their produce, and then also like their what do you say, loss in a harvest time, because harvest time is in Tanzania is around July to about November.
Okay.
So they have a few months to really get in, and now of course all year round you can grow. But it's a prime time when that grape is ripe and it's perfect. And for them, they was losing about 20%. So with that 20%, and this is not dealing with wine, this is just dealing with the grape going back, and then also getting to the market. And then it's not so much a competition, but it's like, okay, I pull my grapes early just to get in the market and then not all the way ripe,
Right.
or do
Choose
I
quality.
wait to the right time? And for them, they don't really have a lot. It's a lot of resources that they don't have. That's what we talk about, the sustainability part, where we just say, hey, we don't want to take from, we want to add to.
Right.
So
Yeah. So being a Black-owned business, especially in a predominantly, you know, I don't want to say white culture, but like us being probably less than 1% in the industry, how has that experience been breaking into the industry as far as owning the wine brand, not just the winery?
For me, I mean, yes, it's something that is a reality, but though it's a reality for me and for us, I think we never let like anything that looks like a barrier or a challenge, like we don't go walk away from it. We go into it headstrong. Yeah. So for us, we knew that, okay, we have this opportunity to, though we have a vineyard in Tanzania, and I know we'll get further into that, the issue for us really was the ports.
Okay.
yeah,
And so, of course, a lot of the ports, when you're saying other nationalities and ethnicities, it seemed like they were easily able to just flow and move through the ports. And for us, it was kind of like we still have a little bit of distrust that was there, because we didn't necessarily, we know of some people, not necessarily knowing somebody, like how we know, like when we start our community center there and all that, we know the person there who's doing that. We can trust that they're going to do what they're supposed to do. So I think for us, though that is a factor, we haven't had any stumbling blocks per se, just because we are a Black-owned business.
Yeah.
And we make sure
Well, I would say add to that, like, not stumbling blocks, more so like learning curves, because of course, like she mentioned, people have been doing this for years.
Yeah.
And to see that we have access to for import export, but not knowing the right channels, as she mentioned, about like trusting people, like if I do this, and will I get what I'm asking for, or will I get a knockoff?
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things you have to look into it. And like you said, just gaining that trust. And then also for us, just going back to the continent in itself was a step that most people haven't taken.
Yeah.
And so to take that narrative out of the way, that people think that it's nothing there, it's poverty everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, you have your pockets like anywhere in the world. But to know that when we went there and seen it for ourselves, and just putting our feet on the ground and experiencing and talking and communicating, we learned that we can do this, but we just got to take our time and understand.
Yeah.
Even
And I
the
would
culture
say the
over there.
other, like those who are like the more higher percentages who are in the wine industry, they've helped us a lot. You know,
I was
as
just
far
going to say,
as
is their mentorship or was their
they've
guidance
helped us.
along the way?
The person who he's a South African, you know, at the end of the day, white man. So he's South African, but at the end of the day, he's of a different
Very
hue.
resourceful.
And he was very resourceful. He was letting us have his connections and, you know, walking us through that process. So we haven't necessarily hit that. When I say something like that roadblock, they say, oh, because you're a Black-owned wine business, you're struggling in this area or that area. We've just kind of been flowing a little bit. I mean, the only hiccup was before we even launched, we were like, man, how do we get, if we're gonna utilize our grapes from Tanzania, how do we get them here to America?
Right.
So I think that's what we're segueing.
I don't know if y'all have another question.
It's not on here, but I was wondering though, like how
does that
has that worked for you all with, you know, and then being able to stay, being able to like, because I'm thinking just about the entire process. Like, you know, your grapes are in, your vineyard is in Tanzania. So, I mean, your product is in Tanzania.
It's like a brand you can't necessarily directly oversee.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, how does that work? Like, have you had to bring in additional people, like just getting all that done?
So we have another slogan. We say, birth in Tanzania, craft in California, sold throughout the world.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Ultimately,
get that on the shirt.
Right. Get on the shirt. Everything. So look, gotta get on the merch.
Yeah.
But when we say birthed in Tanzania, the idea of this baby was birthed in Tanzania.
Okay.
We already had an established, existing vineyard in the industry, but not to the degree of making wine.
Right, because you guys are doing
then
juices
the
and
issue
things.
was getting the grapes to here in America. And so even with the process of us bringing grapes back when we went to Tanzania this past year, and we wanted our family to try the grapes, right? That was a whole ordeal in itself because
just to get a small portion.
I can imagine, because you know when you come back and you have to fill out that slip of like, did you bring anything back with you? I'm like, okay, when you have a product, what does that look like?
It made it through the year before
that.
Speak
to that,
our sunflower oils. We also grow sunflower seeds on our property in Tanzania, and that didn't make it. They took the oil. So we had so much oil.
And we didn't even make it to the airplane.
Yeah, we didn't even.
And now they're using it.
Now we could have, if we had like 2 more hours additionally, we could have been to import export, and the guy said you can take it up. So we started walking that way, and within like 5 minutes of us walking that way, the guy of the Ethiopian Airlines was like, "Hey guys, where you guys going? Oh, miss your flight. We're like, our flight's in 2 hours. We good."
Right.
He said, "No, it's boarding now." It's like we turned back around. Imagine we got some of our bags, carry-ons with us. We run it back. And usually the flight delayed or it's right on time. It was early, so it's like, oh, we're leaving.
Oh, wow.
And so for us, it was like, okay, what do we do with this oil? And it was like, we let the guy have it. And he said, really? It's like liquid gold.
Right.
I was gonna say, how much of a loss was that?
Not much, because we only had a portion of this for test.
I'm like,
it wasn't much to us because, like, so
one of us got to stay here. One of us got to stay.
Yeah, it was a sample portion, so it's like, okay, what the good is gonna do for us?
Yeah.
Just
Right.
Let it go.
thrown out. Here, give it to somebody that's gonna appreciate it.
Yeah.
And it might have even marked it for you.
around,
Yeah, he was like, he said, "Hey, next time I come, bring more. We gonna help you."
Right.
In the airport.
Because you can use it for cooking. You can use it for
skincare, yeah.
Yeah, a plethora of things. So, yeah, with that, oh yeah, I'm dropping my stuff. Sorry, but just a plethora of things, and I think also as she mentioned about like the import export situation. Now, birthed in Tanzania, crafted in California, sold throughout the world. Now, many of you guys are familiar with what's going on right now with all the tariffs, right? And of course, us really being young in this thing is like, we don't want to get on the bad end of any of this.
Yeah.
Because either we're going to pay for it now or pay for it later. So, again, with our Connect, the one that from Tanzania, we're able to say, hey, I know someone in California. Because it's a similar climate to what we have in Dodoma.
Okay.
It's hot days, cool nights. Central California, San Ynez Valley, perfect. And we was able to take that same grape seed and say, okay, we can migrate and bring that versus barrels. Because if you know anything about that, we didn't have, as I would say, we don't have a customer base all throughout the states that know us. Now, somebody that we may know, like a name brand wine, they'll say, hey, this wine is coming out with a new brand. People are just going to buy it because they know the brand. But no one knew us. Of course, in Tanzania, we are known for the things that we're doing. So, yeah, we can sell there. But as far as here, who knows us?
Y'all new kids on the block. New kids on the block.
So he said, don't let your dreams stop. Connect there.
If you need a refill, let me know.
Connection. And that helped us with bypassing the tariffs, because now we can also have a customer base here, get them knowing, familiar with our wine. So now, as we bring in larger quantities,
I'm still breastfeeding, so I got
larger quantities. Now we have the customer base that can kind of balance out the amount, because when you import export, it's about the quantity. Yeah. Right. Of course, quality is there, but you want to have bulk.
Yeah.
So
because you got to make it. You got to make sense.
Yeah. Make sense. So right now we're currently just talking with different distributors.
Okay.
That will help us deal with the import export as well.
Right.
And of course, you want to pick a good distributor, because some distributors can get over on you, right? And you know in the game, they say, hey, we want your wine for this, and we'll flip it for this. We'll put it in this warehouse, and we'll take care of it. Sounds fine. But when you sign that contract for 3 to 5 years,
right,
you're locked into that thing.
Yeah.
So you got to do your due diligence and make sure that you're picking a distributor that's going to work with what you what you have in mind for your business.
Margins out of it.
And also, like you said, your margins. So those are things that we looked at, and things that we continue to learn about as well as we are further along this journey. So just a little bit there.
Yes. No, that is very educating and just eye opening. Just for anyone, like the fact that you guys are able to take a business that you guys do have in Tanzania and share it with us in the U.S. is amazing, because you guys could have been like, they know it's here, we just gonna figure out how to do it here. So we definitely appreciate that. Just a quick question, like for people that are like new to wine, I wouldn't say that I'm new to wine, but I am very like still learning more about wine. Like, what would be some tips that you would give to them to appreciate your your wine and the taste of your wine, because like I said, I'm the type of person, I don't necessarily like dry, but I can appreciate it even if I don't like a craft. People may not like Beyonce, but you better appreciate her work.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Put on the show all the time.
exactly. She's always working hard. So, and when people understand how to appreciate something and kind of learn more about it, they are more accepting to trying it and drinking it. So just even when you think about the notes, when you think about the work, like what are the key things that you want people to know so that they can, when they drink your wine, they know the story.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, first of all, I always want to say thank you for even having us on here, because
Appreciate it.
that's a really good question, because our wine isn't cheap. It's not at a to me, at a price value
it shouldn't
that
be.
I've seen wine where it's like $20, you know, $7.99. I've seen a wine, I'm like, whoa, okay, like, okay.
You know what kind of nights you having.
Right? And then ultimately too, but our wine is at a price point where some may say, "Oh, that's kind of expensive for a Chardonnay." But the thing is, like you said, there's work that goes
Quality.
behind that, and our biggest thing is my husband and his job. They work with the quality triangle, where you have quality, you have quantity, and what was it, the other one?
No, it's quality. It's quality, cost, and delivery.
Okay, quality, cost, and delivery. And so for us, we wanted to have all three.
Right.
Like
Which is very almost impossible, but you can very much lean on two of them to make the other one kind of.
Quality was number one, though. At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Quality had to be there.
And
So with
quality
quality,
costs.
it cost, right? So right now, it's what he said. You want all three, but the biggest two is quality and cost. Delivery is pretty good and solid, for the most part. But the quality of our wine, we was like, you know what? We knew that the climate needed to be close to what our climate was in Dodoma, Tanzania. And so that meant where we're at in San Ynez Valley in California, right? Though the climate is the same, as similar, I won't say the same, but similar to what is in Dodoma, that process of allowing that grape to fully ripen and mature to what it needs to be. So when it does go to the processing part of creating it into wine, it's a journey. There's a time that you have to wait for. There's a patience that I still am trying to understand. But, we have a garden in Tanzania. We also have a garden here in our own backyard. And so to go through that process of knowing that the soil needs to be proper.
Right.
And a lot of things here is soil, that the soil is depleted of minerals. And we need those minerals. And then on top of that, when it goes to the process of being crushed, and then it has to sit, and it has to, turn into the flavor of wine and being fermented, you're paying for that. You're paying for the warehouse who's doing that.
The people.
But I think the biggest thing for us was making sure not only the story of how this came to be of two young people like ourselves who was like, we're going to embrace our roots, because it's important for us to know where we come from, know our history, so that we can move forward in a way where we're not repeating it as far as the negative parts of it. And so the quality that we bring from this is that we went back and we did that journey. We traveled those waters. That's expensive in itself, to do that every single year, multiple times throughout the year.
Speak on that journey, the connection of the culture to your wine.
Okay. So just as she mentioned, and even to add a little bit to what you had asked as well, like we mentioned earlier, drink the story, live the legacy. So we want people to remember that. Drink the story, live the legacy. So when you drink it, you're not only drinking it to enjoy yourself, but you're learning about the legacy, not only what we're bringing forth, but what somebody else may bring forth, right? Yeah. And to add to the cultural part about it, as you can see on the bottle design, it shows 10 people in direction towards, as we'll say, the continent or mother or home.
Well, we're embracing our roots. We want you to embrace wherever ethnicity you are, or background. Embrace your roots. You need to know what your what lies within your roots, because you're going to rediscover or discover untold stories that have never been told before.
Like you did with your grandfather,
right? Yeah, and that may be paramount to the trajectory of what your purpose and calling in the world is to do.
And then one person on there is facing them.
I was going to ask about that. I was like, who's the one person facing?
So that's another thing, is that, as we all know, us as a people have been so disconnected that we don't feel that we're wanted anywhere. Right. Yeah. Of course, we're in a situation now in this country, and it has been there for 500 plus years of us going through ups and downs of, are we accepted in this society as a people, just because of our skin color, right? But to go back home, and we've been told that, they don't like you either.
Because you're American.
Exactly. So
Like we
it's
want it
like
to
this
be.
disconnect
Right.
of communication, and there's been a lot of disconnect even since, as far as I can remember. I think when COVID happened, it seemed like people got further distant.
Apart, yeah.
You know, people began to not have these type of things where you guys are in person, inviting
They was
people to
getting
come
annoyed with
talk.
one another.
It was, everybody's
Right.
online.
Online, exactly.
Everything.
Which
online.
actually, there was a study that came out that said that our generation is decreasing less alcohol, and on one hand, that sounds like a good thing, but at the same time,
The
it was talking
socialization.
about it was decrease in the socialization and the conversations,
Yeah.
where it's not normalized as much as sitting down, having a drink at dinner, and having these conversations
Yeah.
and getting to know your history that are more natural to us. We're not doing that
Yeah.
type of stuff anymore,
Yeah.
and that's why the drinking has gone down.
Yep.
So.
And then to plug into that, I don't know if you guys are familiar with African Ancestry. So we've done a few things with them, and every time we've seen in proximity with them, they always want to use us as like a poster of something, like our children, or Kayla do our hair a certain way, and the cultural aspect that we put behind it, that connect. If you guys have not had an opportunity to learn about your DNA and get your DNA, we encourage that, because sometimes that piece of us that's missing, that emotional piece, that what you'll say, that traumatic
It's a void.
experience, or it's a void, like you say. And a part of that, we believe, is knowing about your culture.
Yeah.
And if you don't know about it all the way, still knowing about, even going back to the continent and just learning about that part of us
Because you'll
that's
see
been
there's things that they
separated.
do there that we're doing here.
Yeah.
And though we've been so far removed, it's still embedded
instinctual.
in us.
Yeah.
Or in
Music.
our grandparents who were doing things. And,
Right.
like I was just watching a segment a couple of days back, and it was talking about how in the black church, particularly when they do the dancing,
Shaking.
the shaking and
yeah.
all that stuff,
Yeah.
right?
I just
That
did a video
ultimately
on
that
that,
comes from a cultural practice done in parts of Africa.
Yeah.
And that it's not about the hooping and hollering that we do today, which is really sad and unfortunate.
Which is
But
science
there's a-
behind it. It's releasing a
Yeah.
lot of
There's a-
stress and hormones
Yes.
and trauma. You're
Yeah.
regulating your nervous system.
And so I think that when you travel back, and like for me, I ended up doing African ancestry for my DNA,
Yeah.
and it came back that it was 100% from Cameroon, well, where they were residing at now, which is called now Cameroon. We know it wasn't called that all the time, but now Cameroon, and particularly the tribe, the Demilike people. And so with that being 100%, when I went back and I talked to African ancestry scientists, and I said, well, how's this 100%? But my husband has all these kind of like deviations. And he said, well, that's to show you that within your mother's lineage, not one single woman was raped. And that the entire
So that's good to
bloodline
know.
was actually pure.
Absolutely.
Right?
Because I need to know some
So
stuff.
beautiful to see that. And then I had my dad do his, because as a woman I couldn't do for the male side. And come to find out, my dad also, his DNA tested back to Cameroon, to the Demilike people, in addition with what's called the pygmy people, which are the people that's like really, really short.
Yeah.
She's short.
My dad had a percentage.
He's like, he's just throwing under the bus like that.
He said, I bet your daddy y'all gonna be linked to the pygmy people. And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was. And my parents, not even having this information and knowing, we knew back then, right? You would usually marry within your tribe. You wouldn't really marry
So it was
outside of
unknowingly.
that. So for them to
Not
not knowing,
know that
not
they
even
actually
know,
married, yeah.
they're both from the same tribal group and married one another, not even knowing that.
Yeah, I definitely want to do ancestry. I simply because I don't want to sound petty. Which may sound petty, but the furthest history that I have with my lineage stops at a white man.
Okay.
Mine
And
is
so that's why I was like, I want to. That was my great grandfather.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was actually shunned from his community because he was openly with a black woman.
It's not like, because people, they'll say, oh, y'all did wine? Like, you promoting people getting drunk? And it's like, no, we can't control what people do.
Even
with
us
their
being
You're
biblical
lives.
promoting
people,
conversation.
it's the
Yes,
same thing.
the biggest thing
It
is
says
getting
you
back
can drink.
to
It asks you
conversation.
not to get drunk. It does not say that you cannot drink wine.
Right.
Everything
So
is
even as a biblical
everything
person,
is in
yeah.
moderation.
Yep.
Everything.
Absolutely.
Don't
But I
abuse it.
love this.
Yeah.
Like we're learning things about you guys, and y'all were learning things about
Right.
this very moment. But would that have been possible? Yeah, it could have
Yeah.
been possibly. But in most
a
occasions,
dig.
usually, right. Like right now, I'm calm. I can be calm without it, but I'm calmer in the sense to say what I feel. I feel safe enough to open up. I'm not because I'm not drunk. I'm still in my right mind.
Yeah.
Right, but I feel safe enough to be able to share certain
Relax.
things about myself that maybe could be, traumatic for me or could be
Yeah.
hard for me to talk about. So I think the biggest beauty of Boddyyayin Cellars is bringing back relationship building. Like we are such relationship people. Like we want to get to know who you are.
Absolutely.
Like the clients that I work with. Yeah, you're a client and I see you for a couple of segments and whatnot, but ultimately I want to know more about you. Because you can also tell me about who you are as a person when it comes to your work ethic or your discipline. So I mean, I think it's beautiful when you have the ability to have a nice glass of wine. Boddyyayin Cellars.
Yeah.
So what would you say
and
would
have
be
a conversation.
your 3 core values that differentiate you from other wine brands? What do you think are the 3 core values that you
All right, so
I know that's right.
one of our values is our foundation, which is our faith. All right, so we drive behind that. Even when we bring forth the education of wine and why it's important and why you see it throughout scripture and not being abused but used in a more formal way.
Absolutely.
The next thing is family, right? We are very family oriented. We bring our children everywhere with us. Our children been to Africa 3 times.
I know that's right.
And some of us, like our parents will say, well, we ain't been once, and our grandchildren have been to the continent numerous times. So we want them to experience everything.
Yeah.
Family. And then, of course, it is trust. So all of that together is our core values because, like I said, we bring this to you guys to have a conversation, to build a relationship, build trust, and form a family.
Right.
Because we still, whether we don't know it or we do know it, we're bloodline some kind of way.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we won't have these conversations if we don't have trust,
Yeah.
right? If we don't have a foundation, as which we started off with our faith, and then also family. So it all comes together as a strong core value.
That segues into my next question. So, when you think about wine, automatically, most people would gear to a woman created that. A woman thought of that wine, you know?
Okay.
So, I love the fact that you, as his wife, was like, this my man.
It's so upset when I would say that. I'm like, this is your baby.
Yeah.
That's your
It is.
We have 3 businesses collectively as husband and wife.
Yeah.
But one of the businesses I had before we were married. So
Right.
that's my baby.
Yeah.
It became your baby.
Right.
But that's really my baby.
Yeah.
This is your baby.
So I love that. I love that you are supportive in that way. You know, just like because most people immediately think that like, oh, this is, and then too from the last name, like in my mind, I was like, oh, this wine got body. That's why I'm like, that's where body came from.
No, it's so funny. She like body. Yeah.
We were like, what is it by? Because you said our creative producer over here, you know, she got like a little southern tang. She be like, Boddyyayin. So we like, is it Boddyyayin?
She added on there.
So we were like, is it Boddyyayin or is it Boddyyayin? He was like, Boddyyayin. I was like, Boddyyayin.
See, y'all got catchy stuff going on.
Listen, my friend does that.
To get it, like, so we can remember, like, the pronunciation of the end. But to go back to what I was going to say, with the trust and the faith and the family, as husband and wife, like, how do you guys come together with bringing these ideas together? And also, too, with this being so new on you guys, I could imagine, at least for me, when I was starting my business, I was at home on my business. So how do you learn to even separate that with your kid, with the babies, and having your youth time, but still being able to come back like, look, we are partners here and we are partners here. Yeah. We got to figure out how we ain't butting heads all the time with both of them.
That's our favorite topic. So I just want to talk about it.
It's important. You hear so many people, unfortunately, who are married end up going and being divorced, or they're not happy because it's all business, and they don't know how to separate the two. And that's something we are still learning because ultimately, I just said yesterday on my Instagram story, sometimes I gotta know when to shut off my mind because I have so many creative ideas that it just will keep flowing. Yeah. And I'll be up late at night just working on those ideas.
Yeah.
But for us, we have to determine, like, when we come sit down, we have to say, I'm coming to you as your wife. I'm coming to you as a business partner. Like, I had to establish that with him because I think sometimes he would get so, and I'm like, I'm talking to you as your business partner. Get Kayla, your wife, out your mind. as your business partner, this isn't a smart move, or we need to do something else. So I think it's important to establish per what's appropriate in your marriage how to talk to each other. But I have to tell him, I'm coming to you as your wife right now, and he know when his wife comes, she a little more risque, and that, you know, like a business partner, it's all like time, it's still showing him respect. But it's still saying, hey, I am in this with you because you've allowed me to be here with you, so you've given me a voice, so allow my voice to be heard. You still gonna do what you want to do, but we still have to make smart business decisions.
And that's why I come in at with it, because sometimes she wants to take the more of a risk, and I'm the financial person. So I'm on the side of, okay, we're gonna take risks.
You're more calculated.
More calculated, right? More logical with it. And she's like, but we gotta try this. I said,
let me crunch some numbers.
And that's the part where like that business part is like, okay, Kayla said, you don't know how to shut that part off. I said, well, I'm always gonna be like that.
It's a balance.
I'm very analytical.
Need that, and I wanted people who have struggled in that area. Were they both two people who were risk takers? But there was no balance to say logic. Or was it somebody who was all logic?
No one put a pause.
Afraid to take any risk. So I think that's what helps us is that we are two opposite spectrums. But I can know too when realistic, like when we did our wine launch, right? It was big, but I wanted to go even bigger.
Forget that budget.
I had the budget set before we did anything.
And I did. I tried to blow it. And he was like, no.
She said with her chest. With her whole chest.
She was in. And then
y'all had dancers, drummers.
Yeah, she had help from, shout out to Amber Staples.
Staple Events.
They was putting me in the corner. And I'm like, nah, I'm not. I'm standing.
They got him
I'm missing this budget every minute.
Shut with his wallet.
But all in all, like you said, just separating those different.
But I'm happy because there's some things in the back end that, like, I'll be transparent right now. There's some things that at the time I wasn't calculating that, this is going to come up. And so right now we're in Illinois, which is really, really tough laws of prohibition.
Yeah.
So to the point where it's just so much red tape. So we're in the process of trying to get our wine. What am I trying to say? We've already filed for.
Just put it into certain like venues, like stores.
But what's it called? What's the paperwork that we had to do? We had to. We're getting our wine. I can't even, y'all, I'm having a brain fart.
That's when you had that little on there.
If y'all want to know something, we want to know what y'all talking about.
Okay, so you want to be able to sell your wine at certain events or whatever they're doing,
vendor's license?
No, not vendor's license. It's beyond that.
It's different. It's like
we're trying to get our wine
five different licenses.
Yeah,
so we're pending now.
Okay.
And so with that process, one is expensive.
Very expensive.
But then two, when the event was going on, Anthony was like, see, we were good about keeping track of the bottles. I'm trying to think of the situation. Nothing bad came up, but it was just like he was showing me like this is why we needed to stay on budget. I think it was when we filed for the license and all stuff. Expenses come up.
Yeah.
And then also too, we're like with the shipping situation that we pay on the back end to assure like our customers get the best cost if possible. It's gonna be expensive.
So you guys
make sure it's going through the right.
But you know, it's a process. So he was just like letting me know like yes, you have a budget because you never know when something's gonna come up that's out of your control.
Especially this being new for us in this part of the world. We was like. America is a whole different monster when it comes to just doing business itself, and like she mentioned about the prohibition, the red tape in Illinois.
So
my goodness. But at the same time, it didn't stop us from going forward because our crafter, our connections, and just doing things legally and with integrity.
And that's the biggest thing, integrity. We operate in integrity, and so there's that patience.
Like we
have
after.
They're like, can we just battle around? And we like. No, we can't because right now technically we are a virtual wine business, and so unless like for the day of our event we had the proper documentation to be able to sell the wine there in person, because there's licenses out there where you can sell for a day. I think it's 3 days.
Up to 15 days.
Yeah, up to 15 days and so forth. And so we had to have that, even though we were under the licensing of the venue that we were at too. We still wanted to just cover, like, we didn't even need that. But we just wanted to make sure, because you never know. Somebody could be asking, tricking you, and they work for the laws, and they say, okay, we're gonna ping your business because you're out here selling. You're gonna be seen as moonshine.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and then also with that, the fact when we were at the launch, the beautiful thing about it was that we had enough on hand to be able to sell in person, but we wanted to make sure that we was able to serve everybody because we had like
a tasting.
Yeah, we had a tasting. We had a tasting of both of them, and then everybody get to pick one full cup. So we wanted to make sure we had enough and calculate all of that. And then also just the amount of people that we had.
That's
We
a
had
lot.
probably
You need to know the numbers because
the-
even after
Right.
the event,
Yeah.
thank goodness, the bartender who was helping us. I
Yeah.
mean, she had it all written down. This is
Yeah.
how many bottles I poured. This is how many people purchased from me. I mean,
This
she
is
had
how
it
much
down.
over.
People who paid in cash. She was so good.
Thorough, yeah.
Because Anthony come at, what's the numbers? I need to know where the bottles.
Right.
And I'm like,
Inventory, you gotta know.
the inventory. What you do? You do
Yeah.
need to know as a business owner. You have to
Yeah.
know. If you don't
Yeah.
know your numbers,
'Cause if they pour
then
in
you
heavy.
don't really know your business.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, 100%, 100%. Because you can easily fall and fail in numbers.
Yep.
Numbers alone.
You know, and then you'll know somebody's stealing from you. Like we have to make sure nobody
Exactly.
stole any
Yeah.
bottles.
Yeah.
But I do want to circle back to the question as far as I think the biggest thing is when you have two opposite people in business that are husband and wife, and like I said, one's the risk taker and then one's the logical person. Because I think I'm logical too. It's just
some
I'm more
areas.
of like the
creative,
the heavy creative risk taker.
yeah.
Like, well, we got to
Right.
do this. I think that's what truly helps us. And then we don't shy away from showing our children what we're
Good.
doing.
Yeah.
Good.
So like when we paying
How many
bills,
babies do you guys have?
3.
3.
Yeah.
That number 3 is significant too. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
So we have 3.
Yeah.
AJ is 8. Avia is 5, and then Ahavia is 1. She'll be 2 in November.
That all 3 is a part.
So of course, obviously, the 2 younger ones, they don't really like my 5-year-old, my 1-year-old. They're like
Right.
they're there. But my son, because he's a male, and I'm like, look, you are. You know, you are firstborn son.
Yeah,
and
you
I
are
take
the
that-
legacy.
Yeah, I take
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
very, very serious. But he knows, like, when we're on our journey of getting out of debt, he'll ask for something, and I'm like, nope, we can't do it. And he's like, why? I'm like, why can't we?
Yeah.
We're getting out of debt.
Every time I come home for it, we out of that yet? He got a thing in mind. He want to get something. I'm like,
But
hey,
you
not
have
yet.
to share
it's
moments like that
beautiful
with your
because he
kids.
sees, like, you know,
The
how
hard
much
work
things
behind it.
cost. You know,
Yeah.
we'll go to the store, he'll be like, dang, groceries was $200. Like, we didn't get what we get. You know, like, after we
Yeah.
did that, the
Yeah.
lady was like, oh, how does he? I'm like, because
Yeah.
we teach them. We don't shy from, like, them sitting down. Not all the time, but most of the times, we'll say, AJ, come sit down. We're paying bills. We want you to see how this works.
Yeah.
And just to add to the question you asked, the balance of it, it's not, as some think it's a cakewalk.
No.
Okay.
Okay, it's not a cakewalk. It is very much stressful days, sleepless nights. Like currently, right now, she's in school, finishing up a certificate for nutrition.
Nice.
And so nights when I wake up, she's still like, Kayla, you got to get some rest. I got to finish this.
Yeah.
You know, so that thing, and then I got to take the kids upstairs to, you know, get them ready and all those things like that. And then sometimes she had clients later in the day. So we trade off with that. I'll be at work in the morning,
Okay.
then she'll have clients throughout the week, maybe 2 or 3 times out of the week. And then on the weekend, she'll have clients. So it's just like
You have
work
to have a
balance.
system.
And
Yeah.
effective communication. I mean,
Yeah.
effective. Like, you have people who
Yeah.
communicate, but they're not effective. Like, they don't communicate effectively.
You have to be
And I'll let
intentional.
him know, like, hey, I am mad right now.
Yeah.
Why she
Like-
use this word overstimulated?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I use that too. I'm like, what is this? I can hear women say overstimulated. All her sisters say it too. I'm like, what is this?
Overstimulated.
Yeah, this is
But I
what
can
woman
get that
said.
too because I mean, you
Man.
guys have 3 little ones. I only
Yeah,
have 1,
a
and
one-year-old,
I be like,
too.
I am tired of being touched.
Oh, my nipples, man.
And then here come your dad and wanted to touch me too.
Oh my God!
No, but I
it's,
get
it's
it.
such a beautiful thing. Like we can't. To me personally, even as we said, like our foundation in the Word of the Most High. Like he said, unjust scales and abominate. Like you have to
Absolutely.
have
You have to have
balance.
balance.
And sometimes that balance isn't going to look like what you think it's supposed to look like. But ultimately, you know when you feel balanced.
You
Because I'll
know.
say I have shalom that nobody can take from me.
Mm.
So when I walk into my home, or when people walk on the side of my home, whatever, you're gonna feel the shalom and presence of the Most High in this
Yeah.
home.
Ah,
And there's
I
times
love
where maybe
that.
chaos everywhere else. Like I
said
said,
not here.
shalom has the power to destroy chaos.
Yeah.
And so when you truly operate and walk in that, it's kind of like you almost like you just gliding. Like sometimes I don't even know how I'm able to get
Yeah.
to do what I'm doing with 3
Yeah.
kids. You know, and
Yeah.
having 3 businesses, and then he works a full-time job as a entrepreneur, or not entrepreneur,
Yeah.
an engineer. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
as an engineer. So it's just the biggest thing I think is balance, and with that balance, though, knowing that it's not going to be like. It's not going to look how you always want it to look. But you'll
Exactly.
know when you feel balanced because you'll have that shalom,
peace.
that peace
Yeah.
that surpasses, as it says, all understanding.
I appreciate you guys showing that. First, the how transparent you guys are, how authentic you guys are, and just the openness to show like, hey, there's good times, there's bad times. We are both entrepreneurs. We're both working. We both have careers. We have children, and we still was able to have a business together. We recognize that it is challenging, but it is doable.
It's doable, especially when
work.
it's yours.
When it's yours,
yours.
exactly, and
think
we're maintaining who
Tab
we
said
are
that.
in all of it. in all of it. So I definitely appreciate it. I feel like I got I feel like I visited on this couch Tanzania.
That's the goal.
Now you gotta go.
Already, I'm like, okay, let's go.
That's the goal of us with our wine club, setting up with meeting
I'll
other.
start with the DNA part first.
Well, yes, definitely start there. And with our wine club members, part of that you get certain perks, and so one of those perks is we've already partnered with certain traveling agencies where we will take a trip collectively together as a wine club, royalty wine club member, and as a group, and we'll show you guys different parts like our vineyard. But you may not want to go to Tanzania. You may want to go to South Africa or Ghana. We can do those things because, of course, we're connecting those relationships about our wine, but also too with those other companies and business prospects on the continent.
Y'all heard that?
I know that is so amazing.
So I know we had about a couple of minutes left, and I think that's. I don't know if you had another question, but yeah, just drink the story, live the legacy. That's what I'm gonna continue to say.
So you guys are selling virtually?
Yes.
Currently? Okay, so can you guys share your social
know,
media handles, where they can find you, where they could purchase, your personal handles, or you guys have your own other business? Share it all, okay? We want to support the legacy beyond the wine.
She's the voice.
Okay. So our Instagram for this business is literally Boddyyayin Cellars, as you see on the bottle, BODDYYAYIN CELLARS. And then our website, likewise the same, www.boddyyayincellars.com. My own personal Instagram handle, I am a holistic esthetician and student nutritionist at the moment, and that's BUnique_beauty. So BUNIQUE_beauty, BEAUTY.
The only handle I have. I'm not really a social media person. So she took care of the Instagram and everything, but I just wanted to add this in there that when people purchase our wine, it don't only just help us with our business, but it also contributes to the building of the community center that we are currently in phase 2 of building in Tanzania right now.
Okay.
So everything's doing well there. So on the website, as Kayla mentioned, on BODDYAYINCellars.com, we have a section that shows what we're doing on the continent as well. So you guys can be involved and know a little bit more about that as well. So.
Absolutely.
This is a good wine time.
Y'all was gonna say you want a refill.
Yeah,
it is okay.
She didn't give me a shirt, so I have to wear this.
I'm sorry. Look,
I'm good with
Well, she
this
had
is
that
Marshall's. I was like, why do you need this?
All right, then.
So again, guys, we appreciate you guys watching us because we know y'all watching. We appreciate you guys. Watching and buying and watching. Okay. We appreciate you all for being here, sharing your legacy with us, sharing your journey. It's been such an amazing time. Yes. And we want you guys to know that we're not just the podcast for tea. So wine me, please. Clean, clean, clean. Look, you're imaginary wine. Gotta have discipline.
And don't forget, if you want our advice, send us an email to advice@winemepleasepodcast.com.